Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Sami, aka Laker Boy Ace.
What up, y'all? It's Waleed, aka Laker Boy Waldo.
And today we will be discussing the Lakers' offseason moves, what they have done so far, which are the coaching staff that they've signed, and also the impact of the number 2 pick.
We'll also be projecting our best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, and also the impact that certain moves in the offseason will lead to those scenarios.
What better way to start out the video than by discussing what the Lakers have already done? Now, they've signed Luke Walton. For those of you that do not know, he is the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors. Now, I'm going out on a limb. Just kidding. They're going to win. Warriors won.
It's over. Series is over. 3-1. Done.
Yeah, it's a done
Yeah,
deal.
done.
So that's 2 rings under the assistant coach tag. That's 2 rings as a player. And on top of that, Phil Jackson loved it.
Right. He said he's going to be the next greatest coach in the NBA. The Zen Master himself said that.
So that's amazing, huh?
So also, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, Luke Walton, that hiring is just such a massive move. A lot of people underrate it. It just shows how much the Lakers still have a hold on, the league. For the last few years, we haven't been getting what we wanted, and now signing Luke Walton, it shows that, we could still get what we want. We're still the Lakers. We're still that franchise that people want to come to. So, I mean, that's huge for the Lakers, the PR, the front office, to show, people in the offseason that, they're still one of those teams. They're not as bad as the masses perceive them to be.
Now, what's great about Luke Walton is it shows that the Lakers are heading into a new direction. I like to say the direction post Byron Scott and post Kobe.
Right.
All right, we need that. Free agents the past 3 years, LaMarcus Aldridge, etc. None of them wanted to sign with us because we didn't have that direction. We had an aging Hall of Fame superstar, and it just didn't look good. But now that we have Luke Walton, we have a bunch of rookies. A guy like maybe KD can look at this and say, hey, we can make this work, flip some trades.
Right, and even if it's not KD, it's just kind of fun to look at it on its own,
Exactly.
I mean, think about it. We have Russell, Clarkson, Randall, a second pick coming on the way that could hopefully be Ingram. That's just on its own, by itself, just amazing to me. I mean, it's just exciting,
It's exciting times right now.
Yeah.
Really exciting. And lastly, there's Brian Shaw for the coaching staff. I thought he was a great addition as this guy brings maturity to the team, something we need, and a veteran presence.
Right, and on top of that, adding on to the veteran presence and maturity, he's also known for connecting with the youth. Actually, it's really funny. Yeah, Sami knows about it. He's actually known for rapping his scouting reports to the players.
We'll need you a job on call tips. Got 5s and 4s. Keep boy Tyler Huntley off the board.
And that, according to Kobe, the Mamba himself said was one of the coolest things because it made it interesting hearing about different players, like learning about what they do, what they say is so fluid to them. So, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I've never heard of a coach, rap a scouting report. So that alone is a crazy person.
And the cool thing about that is I think that builds chemistry with the players and the coaching staff.
Right.
Something that you need. Something that we were really bad with last year. Byron Scott did not get along with these players. I don't care what the media is trying to trick you with. Nothing. You get me, man?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I'm happy that this is happening. I'm really happy that we chose these coaches.
Right.
Or Luke Walton chose Brian Shaw as his assistant coach. It's amazing. So
it's great.
Great moves, GM Mitch Kupchak. I'm really happy, man.
Good job. Speaking of good times done, oh man. Speaking of a job well done, your job's not over yet, Mitch. You still have a lot more to go. So that transitions into our next topic, which is talking about best and worst case scenarios for the Lakers. Basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna predict what's the best scenario for the Lakers, what's the worst scenario for the Lakers, and the impact that makes on the future long-term success of the franchise. So best case scenario, I'm gonna start off by projecting the starting lineup and 6-man for my best case scenario team, which would be point guard, D'Angelo Russell, shooting guard, Jordan Clarkson, small forward, KD, power forward, Julius Randle, center, DeMarcus Boogie Cousins, and our 6-man being, wait for it, Nicholas Batum. By no means this is gonna happen at all. 100% probably won't. But we're talking about best case scenarios, stretch scenarios, 2 case scenarios. So Basically, what I'm thinking is we can somehow from God, convince KD to come to LA, flip our second overall pick and maybe, I don't know, someone like Nance for Boogie Cousins, and then showing that type of roster, somehow lure Nicholas Batum to take a six-man role. The implications for this, as for the Lakers, is crazy. We become one of the best teams in the West, and it would just be ridiculous in terms of rebuilding for Jim Buss's state, for Mitch Kupchak's state. We would just be a win-now team. We'd be ready to compete. KD will have a deep roster with him, hopefully with some good shooters like Russell and Batum, and we'd just be ready to go. I wouldn't say we'd win a championship from that team even, but we would already be deep in the playoffs just from that team alone. How about you?
As you listed all those players, I was laughing because it's funny. I have the exact same roster as you. I know Nicholas Batum is a stretch. I heard that he wants to re-sign with the Hornets, but I think with the squad in place, with what you said, it's very alluring. To be six-man to DeMarcus Cousins and Kevin Durant once the chemistry's built.
That'd be
you
pretty
can do something good.
Yeah.
So on top of that, I'd like to talk about how D'Lo is going to be in full effect with this roster. You know, it gives him more confidence. We're keeping him as that point guard. Right? So he's going to feel like, okay, I have something to prove. This GM believes in me. The whole Laker Nation believes in me.
Running a pick and roll with DeMarcus Cousins instead of Roy Slow Hibbert.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
I think that would be amazing. And I think that this roster in general is going to have a good mix. You're going to have the veterans, you're going to have the youngins, and it's going to help us win now, but also help us in the long term. Something that we did really bad in the first round.
Because if you think about it, everyone will still be under 27, 28 years old.
Exactly.
That's still a good 4 or 5 years. That's basically a dynasty in the making. Once again, best case scenario. That's if all the cards somehow fall in our favor.
Please don't roast us in the comments and think that we really think this is going to happen. Again,
yeah.
best case scenario. This is, you know.
We're just spitballing out here.
Now the worst case scenario. Before I get into this, again, don't roast me. A lot of people have feelings towards this certain player I'm about to say we shouldn't sign. DeRozan. I think worst case scenario is that we max out on DeRozan. Listen, obviously it's kind of ignorant for me to say that we shouldn't sign him solemnly based off his off-season performance.
No, I agree.
Right?
I agree with you, 100%.
The thing is, DeRozan, I don't think he'll fit the flow of the team. With Luke Walton coming, he said that he's going to run Golden State type of plays. Now that type of play style is a lot of passing, a lot of ball movement. Something that DeRozan doesn't really do. I see him, he's a ball stopper. You get what I'm saying?
Think about Lou Will. We've already seen a sample size of it.
Exactly. And he's kind of like Lou Will on steroids. So you get that, which is not bad. DeRozan's an amazing player. I just think that with what we have going on with the Lakers, it's not the greatest addition. I think we are better off maxing out on Whiteside. But regardless, that's a topic for another video. I'm here to talk about the worst case. So that's maxing out on DeRozan. And I think that's really it for us. The thing that's ironic about it, in my opinion, is that we're pretty set with what we do have. If we do not manage to sign any big names, we still have a bunch of rookies that are very hungry and promising. We have Brandon Ingram, who's coming out of a fantastic college year from Duke, and he really is coming in this league to prove to people that, hey, I'm going to be a worthy player.
And I'm going to stop you there because that ties into my worst case scenario, which is actually the scenario that I'm low-key looking forward to. It'll be exciting, man. Like, I don't care about, I mean, of course I care, but I won't be as heartbroken not signing anyone as long as we keep those 4. I mean, that team would be so much fun. And that's still my worst case scenario. Maybe just sign, a center like Biyombo for like a max. That would probably be my worst case scenario because I don't think he's worth a max. But that worst case scenario to me is still not that bad.
The thing about it is that I find really interesting, it isn't that bad. When we say worst case scenario, we're solemnly talking about the record, championship-wise. Obviously with the KD and DeMarcus Cousins, you're gonna get to the playoffs. With this team, that's not a promise. No. You're definitely not gonna be the last seed in the West, but you're definitely not gonna make even the 8th seed.
But see, here's the thing, with that worst case scenario, you're just adding more foundations on top of what's already there.
Perfect.
So maybe every year you get a solid draft pick from now on. That's called rebuilding, people. I mean, us Laker fans have never seen that before, so it's interesting, And
now, also what I want to say to that is, I think a lot of people are saying, we should sign this, we should trade this, we should do this, we should do that. Now, I have no problem with that. But all I'm saying is we should not rush this process.
Right.
It's a rebuilding process. We have a lot of key assets, and it would be really ignorant to just trade them out
Right.
for a win-now situation in which we don't necessarily have a guarantee that we're going to win.
Right. Exactly.
So basically, that was the gist of it all. We discussed the best and the worst case scenarios, and personally, honestly, there really is no best and worst case for me,
Right. Right.
right? I do think that either way the offseason goes, we will still have something entertaining to watch, whether it be watching the development of the rookies or watching potentially, don't kill me, KD balling out in a Lakers
with Boiii,
uniform.
with Boiii Cousins.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly, 100%. I mean, think about it. We're gonna have a franchise-changing player with us, whether it be Ben Simmons or Brandon Ingram. One of them's gonna be a Laker, guys, and that's just huge. I mean, not many franchises can be that comfortable with not signing a free agent.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we haven't been for the last 2 years, so that's a big perk for us, guys.
So yeah, and you know, it's really cool. We have a homegrown team, meaning that we built from the draft. It's beautiful. It's something that the Warriors have, and look at them now. And that about wraps it up, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you did not enjoy the video, and comment your opinions on what we said.
Yeah, just let us know. I mean, that's the biggest thing we're trying to do here. We're trying to get opinions. If you think Laker boy Ace had some stupid opinions, let us know. If you think I had some stupid opinions, please let us know.
And listen, the main thing from this channel is we want to give you guys the most unbiased, the most truthful opinions that we have regarding the Lakers franchise. Because after all, this channel is built upon the fans and what we think, and it would be amazing if you guys could just help and contribute in the comments and really tell us what you think.
Right.
So that's about it, man. Laker boy Ace, signing out. Peace.
Laker boy Waldo, out.